Hello, morning. Oh, for me, it's morning. For some of you, it's morning, or some of you is midday. So thank you for coming. I know I can see here in the participants a lot of people. Not everybody have the video on. I don't know if we can switch on our videos or if we have some problems on that. So not sure. So but is a yeah, I'm seeing a little. Yes, hello. It's very nice to see your
Ciao.
face. I hope our
Hello.
connection can support all videos because it's much more nicer to see you all. Thank you for Chinese colleagues for joining.
Hi,
Hello.
Jay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, ciao.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Sabrina. Hi,
Hello. Nice meeting you.
Hi, Yelzen. And new friends are coming. So it would be nice to make some, we can see the participants here. So I'm logging in as DESIS coordination. So we have Miaozen from China, and as you have just connected, Feng, so other colleagues, and we have two people from DESIS coordination. This is Ingrid and Mateus that is here. They are here to support us in our, so if you have some technical problems or to connect or some doubts, you can talk with Mateus is here, so you can chat with them. And Ingrid will be taking notes of our conversation. So we hope to publish some notes of what happened here. We also recording, so we hope to make this available later. We need to understand if it will be in the best way for everybody to access. So we expect to publish like raw video. So we don't spend time editing, just to share information and be like, to follow this urgency we are living now. So we don't waste time editing, just raw material to people to connect, because some people ask this to be registered, to be, for people that are not can join us right now. So thank you very much. I don't know if you have seen, we have a proposal, a program that I will post here in the chat, I hope. Let me see, but okay. I will post here our program today. Welcome and introduction. Can you see it in the chat? So background notes from Nazio. I'm just already doing welcome and introduction. DESIS action, so short presentations of ongoing initiatives from DESIS members. So we have like 5 minutes to present. So what we're gonna, when we arrive at this point, we're gonna organize it. And I hope it could be like sharing screen. So you can see below in your Zoom, sharing your screen. So you can open up your presentation and talk, but please, we organize how many people and see how many time we can have for this. We have previewed here like 35 minutes, right? Yes. And then we have open discussion, and so we will have some times to discuss what we have find out, seeing different projects and this wonderful sharing we're gonna have here, what's next, and then goodbye. So we have 1 hour and 30 minutes of meeting, okay? So we are doing this conversation. This is an initiative from DESIS coordination to improve the exchange of information. So we would like to create opportunity for DESIS Lab to exchange good ideas and practices, and even to support each other in this new challenge we are living now. So we did two conversations that are the same proposal in 2 different time zones. So we try to accommodate, you know, we have a huge range of labs in so different time zones. So we have 2 conversations. This is the first one, more easy for you in China and in general this area. And we have another one on 16 for it will be better for people in Europe and Americas. Okay, so if you want to have a complete idea of all DESIS projects and ideas and the discussions, you can access both recordings, right? We will make both available. If nothing goes wrong with our recording here in Zoom, so we're supposed to have two. So you can also see what is gonna happen on 16, all right? So you have received, everybody receives our new newsletter from DESIS Coordination. And the DESIS newsletter is very important for us because it's our main channel of communication. So we strongly invite you to see if you are receiving the newsletter. And if not, you can register in the DESIS website. So there is an area also for you to invite members of your lab to join. I will show you where, I hope here, okay? Up in the up menu of the website. So you can ask for your colleagues and friends to join, okay? And the newsletter, I will try to connect here now to share and see if it's working. The sharing screen, okay, it's working. Okay, just a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, it's here. So you can see here in this section, newsletter, up in the upper menu, you can see newsletter here. So you can also invite members of your lab to join. Click here to subscribe our newsletter. So this is the main channel of communication. So if you are not receiving, you can update your mail here or write to us as DESIS Coordination, and you can also send in the chat now your problem, so we can try to solve it now. But anyway, you can subscribe now. And if you see the last newsletter, the last two newsletters we sent, we are moving to this initiative to collect projects from DESIS labs to try to increase the knowledge exchange in the network. So we have a form to collect your projects. We have created, this is a very easy way to share projects. So this is just a small synthesis, links online for the project description, a picture, and this is very easy way to share your projects. So we will go, this is create a kind of data bank for us, and we would like to share the projects online. So we will create like a news from DESIS Lab. So we will post your projects and initiatives to create some conversations. And when we have enough projects, we would like to have a repository. So to organize a dedicated website on which you can see the different projects and initiatives the DESIS labs are doing. So this hopefully will be very inspirational for other DESIS labs, but also a source of information so we can support each other. So the idea is to increase the knowledge exchange between members of the DESIS network. So we have received some projects in PowerPoint format that could be displayed today on our conversation, but later I strongly invite you to see the forms and fill the forms so we can have like to share all information in a kind of easy way for people, okay? But thank you for sending detailed PowerPoints, and we will just use also them in our communication process, okay? So this conversation is part of this initiative. So we hope we have these two conversations, and then later we were gonna have these showcasing projects in the DESIS website, and later on, if possible, a place on which you can see all the projects together, okay? So it depends on how we're gonna receive these projects and how we can activate this communication work. So your participation will be very important. Okay, so this is just to say welcome to you. This was operational informations, and I'm very glad to give the word to Ezio for background notes. If you see our two last letters, you can see that Ezio has also shared with us one text that is also online in the DESIS website. Everything that is in the newsletter is also posted in our DESIS website, so you can see there. But he has also specific background notes for inspiring us, our conversation today. So thank you all. Ezio, please.
Okay. So can I speak? Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe you have to. I still see Carla. I still see your screen.
Okay, I will try to. Okay, I close it.
Yeah. Okay. So well, it's very interesting to be here all together. For me, it's very early in the morning, but it's not a problem because I always get up early in the morning. So beyond that, you know why we are here. And I want to share my screen if I can. One moment. Okay. So you know that we are here because we are all living a very difficult moment, a very tragic moment in some way. And sorry, one moment, I don't understand. Yes. So the beginning is a tragedy. And I don't spend so many words on this because we all know it very well, especially in China where everything started, and now in Europe, in America, and everywhere. But from this tragedy, now we are in the phase of moving on. So we can call it about transition. And I find this image very telling. So life is in some way coming back, but it's coming back in a way that is not the same that before. And so we can call it transition because we have to move from the stage of the emergency toward something else. And the something else, in a very simple way for people, is to go back to normality. But I think that you share with me the idea that we cannot simply call it a normality because, first of all, after something like this, it will not be normal. And secondly, because what was normal before, who has been engaged with us in working for Design for Social Innovation knows that there were so many environmental and social issues that we should not simply try to go back to the normality that in many ways has been also the cause of the tragedy that we have seen and we are still living. So it should be a kind of new normality, something new. But it's quite difficult to say what is the new, even though we need to do something. So we need to have some imagination. And I'm not going to develop it now, but for sure we need to use what we can do as a designer. As a designer, we have to recognize the driver for change and to try to have some visions. And to do this, what we do. So as people working on the design in the design school, the first issue is to look what is already happening. And this is why we are doing this mapping. And you all know that it's very important that each one of you is doing something, but it's also important to understand what the others are doing, because this gives us what we call a design knowledge, the consciousness of how people think things and how things are dealt with by many other colleagues. So the mapping is very important, and we are starting today now with this mostly China, but not only. We have also Thailand. We could have also Australia. We can have all this area in the planet. And the day after tomorrow, we will conclude the map with the people coming from Europe, Australia, Africa, and so no, not Australia, North America and South America. And when we talk about the mapping, we have to try to give some category. And what we did is at the beginning to start with a very simple category. So there are, and we have seen, because I've already talked with many of you, so I know already some of the projects that have been done or that are ongoing. There are some projects that are more related to the emergency, someone that is already on the transition, and someone that is trying already to give some vision on the what we call the new normality. And at the same time, so we can try to learn. So the way of being designed in this way is to look to the emergency, to try to learn from emergency, and to see what we have learned in emergency, how we can bring what it can bring in the transition. And this is a way to build the new normality. But as a designer, it's very important also to have some idea of this new normality in a way that when we work in the transition brings in it also something that is for the future. So we don't have only one transition. We can have transition intended as moving from A, then we know what it is the emergency, to B, but the B is open. So to know where we want to go towards, that is a transition, we should have some idea of this new normality. And this is, as I said before, something that now we can try to understand, look into what are the ongoing drivers and what are the visions that coming from our experience we can in some way project. So the mapping is the design for emergency. You will see mainly are the most obvious is some service to support people that are in that have problems, or also there has been some very interesting projects helping the caring, so the people that are taking care for the other, supporting the one that are the caregivers. And there are another cluster of projects that are more related to use our product making capabilities. So we have had all the schools that have some maker space, or the schools that have some workshop working on some technical device for the medical devices, or working for masks or other dresses. And afterward, we have something that is in the transition. And as we will see, the transition means something about the way in which we have to live. Now we are learned that unfortunately for a relatively long period, we had to live with this virus. So there will be something that came from our moment of social distancing that we are now until now that will move in a long period. So we have to learn how to live in this condition in which we will be back to school, we will be back to the offices, we will be back in the street, we will be back in some public transportation, but living with some precautions, being attentive not to being again transmitting the virus. And also after this will be a crisis, and so it will be diverse, an economical crisis and a social crisis. So now everybody, I see better in Italy, but I think that is everywhere, is in some way shocked by what has happened. But when we enter in the transition, we have also to restart our society and to restart our economy. So how we can imagine to restart the society and the economy in the condition in which we will be, and for the kind of new normality that we would like to see. And afterward, there are somebody that are working on the directly, and this is mainly to make scenarios, and the scenarios can come both from what has been, for instance, for many of us in this meeting of Design for Social Innovation Labs, come from the experience that we did in social innovation. At the end of the day, when we worked before this crisis in design for social innovation, we were anticipating a future that could generate a scenario that could be part of the story that we want to project in the new normality. So there is a lot of what you learned in 10 and more years of working on as design for social innovation that can be extrapolated and become element and material on which to build scenarios for the new normality. And the same is true for who is more working in speculative design. So they are trained to create vision of a possible positive or negative world that is food for discussion. And so I've seen that there are some of you that worked on this way. So projecting as a designer some view of what they would like to do or not. So I think that now I want to finish in 1 minute. I only tell you what could be the element of a more in-depth discussion that we cannot do now, because this is not the moment to do it. But we want to be, DESIS want to be not only a place to connect technically different experience and to learn each other some way of doing, but we want also to be a place for generating new design knowledge and new reflections. So let me say only the title. One title, when I said, when we look to the future, we have some drivers that can be recognized today. And afterward, we can have some visions. Let me see with you at least the title of some drivers. One for sure that will remain beyond the social distancing, that will be a kind of necessity that we will have for a period, is sure that worldwide there has been a kind of total immersion in online activities. Now we have here today, we are lucky to have so many Chinese friends, and China is really at the forefront of how to use online devices. And therefore we have a lot to learn from China by this point of view. I only want to say that there is not only one direction. So in my view, there is a competition in this moment in between different ways of considering what could be a society that is so largely online. So to be online will be one of the elements of the future. For me and for my experience, I will say, let's try to be very clear in the fact that the online has to be a way to help people to meet also offline, and very important to give an idea of a resilient society, a kind of social relationship with the place. So a resilient society, a resilient community is a community of people that interact also in the physical world and with the place where they are. So this is our discussion, how we can move toward a more online society, but at the same time using this to regenerate the relationship in the offline, so in the real world. The second one is the economical crisis, economical change. So we are very diverse. The economical regime in China, in Thailand, in Australia, in India, in Europe are very diverse. But in the last period, the main trend has been something that can be said as a marketization. So to think that the market can solve everything. Now the crisis tells us very clearly that the market cannot solve everything. So that we need the market maybe, but for sure we need the state. And for sure we need, because everybody recognizes that to react to the tragedy, we need the cohesion in between people, we need community. So the discussion about the new economy should be a discussion that can generate and invent, experiment new way of combining the market, the state, and the commons, at least this kind of combination of different economies. And this will be a challenging. And finally, a cultural crisis. So again, even more, we have differences. So the Chinese have a totally different philosophical transition from the European, but for sure, a lot of what has been the industrial society, when it spread, is spread with the idea of anthropocentrism. So they imagine that we are at the center of the world, that nature is at our service, and that we can do what we want. For sure, everybody recognized that a human being cannot totally control. The human being cannot totally control nature. The nature has a kind of its own life, and we have to find a different way that is not the one that the industrial society have had. Of course, this is a long story. As DESIS, we are developing a new thread of discussion that is called Politics, Design and Politics of Nature. And I hope that we will do so. There were some of this meeting of philosophy talk on this topic foreseen for the future months. Of course, now they are being deleted. We are trying to move online, and you will be informed for the next. But I think that this rediscussion of what is our relationship with nature is one of the most important driver of change, a different way of looking to things, in which now, hopefully, the different wisdom from Europe, from America and South America, the indigenous culture, and of course, the Asian one, the Indian and the Chinese one has a lot to say, and I hope that we will have a discussion on this. Yes, this is the conclusion. For me, the story is about how to build this social innovation toward hybrid community of place. And the community of place is what I already said, the connection between people and the physical places. And by many points of view, I would say that to summarize is that we was looking for a kind of density. Not only the physical density, but the density of relationships, the density of how much people interact. And we have seen density as a positive. So we have said there is a kind of relationship in between sustainability and density, physical and social density. Now, of course, in the age of the social distancing, this is challenging. So probably one very key point is how we manage the idea of this kind of human and physical density that is needed for social and environmental sustainability in a moment in which we have been pushed toward this taking distance physically and also, unfortunately, socially. And so this is my story, and now we are open to the other ones to listen what you have done. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Ezio. Thank you. Now in our program, I don't know, we should move now. I don't know if we have a time or invert this to have some conversation now, or we follow strictly the program, because now we are expected to complement this presentation with some remarks and presentations and ideas, what is going on in the DESIS labs from participants. So I would like to know here in the chat who have material to present, and then afterwards we can have a conversation. So we have like examples of projects. Some of them have been sent to me. I don't know if you want to show to really make a presentation, or as you maybe you can stop to share your screen. So
yes, sorry.
Maybe we can end by seeing something very personal.
Yes, I don't know exactly how to do, but I will try.
There is a sharing screen that is in green. You can just
yes, but disappear. So I don't have the big. I don't know.
Okay, I have this power here to stop your sharing. So
yes,
please.
use
so
your
I did
power.
it.
Okay, now there is your screen.
Yes, there's this network screen. So so it's a neutral one. So we are previewing like 5 minutes presentation or 7 minutes presentation. Who I received some projects from Feng, other from Sabrina. But the way it would be like you sharing your screen, so we can take we can see your presentation. Is this all right for you? Feng, Sabrina, and who more would like to share? Maybe we can start with these two and then going on. You can raise your hands or write in the chat. Okay, and I pass one by one, so we have like an idea what you are doing. Okay.
I'm here.
Hi, Fang. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Fang. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. What do you think? You can share. I can stop my.
Okay.
You can share your screen and talk a little bit of the projects you were. And while we do that, people can afterwards, Sabrina, and then people. I can turn around all the participants and see who have some also verbally some initiatives to share. Yeah. Okay.
It's my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, probably I will take some minutes to introduce what we have done in the past 2 months. In fact, we started this semester from the middle of February. In this semester, we have the course, the master students course of survey design and the undergraduate students course on interaction design. So basically, we defined our courses following the theme of design out isolation. In the middle of February, the pandemic issue in China actually is after the peak, and we are considering how to recover from the crisis situation and going back to the normality. So in our survey design courses, in fact, we have 5 groups of students, and we try to give them the situation, explain them some cases, the real cases during the epidemic issue. So afterwards, we asked the students to choose what they would like to do and use the method and the tools of survey design. We also give them some didactic materials. And in fact, in the early stage of our course organization, we invited a lot of experts to give instructions to the students, because even though that we already have our courses, but most of them are online, and it was very difficult for them to do the real field research or interviews of the users. So our experts give a lot of instruction to them, and in fact, guide them to do something for the after crisis period. So basically, our 5 group of students are dealing with the post-COVID topics. For example, this case, could you see this full screen? It's clear?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
It's very clear.
It is a project for how to make all of the everyday life easier after the crisis. So this is called the life circle, that we try to encourage people to go outside them home, but still we have to guarantee all of the safety issue to get infected. So the student, they sort of a lot of technologies and method, for example, to combine some thermal sensor and to detect which kind of places is not so much crowded, the restaurants, the health salon, the supermarkets, so that they can choose their time to visit there. And anyway, but try to control the risk. All of the other groups are have the very similar idea. For example, the second group, oh yeah, I have to change a bit. Probably I don't have enough time. So I would say that our students are trying to, for example, this group, they are dealing with how to help the restaurant, the small restaurants surrounding the communities to increase their possible business. For example, now people are getting their food by delivery, but in the end, the delivery cannot cover all of the cost of a restaurant. So they also use a lot of service design, for example, to know the situation, the customers in that specific restaurant, and how the hygienic issue is controlled by the restaurant, how was the health condition of the employees of the restaurant. So it will help people to go outside, to eat outside. And other groups, for example, there are a group dealing with the community interaction. For example, so in the past months, we have a lot of interaction based on the online issues, and we were supported by a lot of community workers, by some volunteers, by the owners of the small stores in our community. We would like to gather and express our gratitude to them and encourage people to know each other, even though that we cannot have a lot of physical interaction. And we have double degree students from the Polytechnic di Milano. That means a group of Italian students. Even though we have the Orajet, they followed our course very well, and they developed an online museum education for the children to help the parents to survive, in fact. So these are our projects, and now we are organizing an online exhibition and offline exhibition supported by a hub, anyway. And in fact, I try to make a consortium in the DESIS network. That means different schools, including the Tongji University, Jiangnan University, Hunan University, Guangdong Academy of Fine Arts, and other universities involved us. They give lectures, courses, following the same thematic, theme. And we try to define, understand how the young kids can contribute their creativities to understand the situation, to understand how to recover from this crisis with our service effort, service design effort. So that's my introduction. I hope I used my time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we ask questions?
Sure.
Where specifically, which city was this happening in? Sorry. By the way, I'm Joshua Roberts. I'm from the Hong Kong Design Institute DESIS Lab. So I'm very, very curious about where this is happening in China. So.
Hi, Joshua. This is Fang. Actually,
yeah.
My colleague, Professor Fu Ziyong, is also online, and we are in Beijing.
Okay. So this is happening in Beijing. It's not in, because I heard you mention Guangzhou. So I was just curious where this is.
Even though we give our course on in Beijing, but other universities also involved with the theme, and we organize the exhibition, and we exchange tutoring the students to others. So this is our work.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I was just curious. I just wanted to clarify that. So.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Fang. And please, I would like to invite Sabrina to share Tongji University projects. Please.
Okay.
I would like also to ask people if you have not checked in the chat. We are making like the name of, we are asking you to post your name and the name of your DESIS lab for making a kind of notes of this meeting. So please, if you have not placed your name there, please do it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sabrina from the DESIS lab, but I'm currently in Italy at the moment. I'm stuck here for 2 months already. Okay. to the screen. So today I'm going to share some slide. Actually, it's not only from DESIS lab, but it's all from the college work. You know, during the outbreak, how the colleges react, and then what they react, and then what they did. So basically, okay. So so actually, just after the outbreak in China, the college and then also cooperated with the SustainX, which is the lab the Professor Lo Yongqi leaded to provide this public pandemic prevention guide, which is in Chinese and English. So it's very quick to react to this outbreak at the moment. And then also the college donates like 10,000 masks to the Politecnico di Milano. And also sending some masks to the teaching staff in abroad and their partners as well. And so, and then the college also joined the, let's say we're supposed to do the exhibition in Cumulus. So this is a group of the university we participate, and all the courses actually is arranged to related to on this pandemic topic for their teaching, training, and then design practice. So at the moment, actually, I'm sharing some cases which is already done. For example, for this one, actually, this project, which is actually also asking, this is already did the prototyping in China, which is called Huoyan Air Lab, which is a collaborate with this Shenzhen National Gene Bank, which is using the inflatable structure to actually did this structure lab outside of the Shenzhen National Gene Bank. And then, you know, those kind of like a quick installation, cost effective and modular combination, all this effect. And then also they transfer this material to the hospital inside of the prevention materials, also apply to the ward, and then also they get this pendant as well. And they also transfer to the emergency, like household air inflating sleeping bag as well. And then also this one you can see, but this is also now they are applying the pendant, and then they try to developing the further issues with other colleagues and then the industry as well. So following because the time limitation, I didn't get all the material from the colleagues, and then this is some from the product design and also communication design, and then other one course. And this one is the masks actually did from the industrial design course. Actually, this is the improvement of the existing product, because I'm not going to go through every product design, individual product, just to go through very quickly. This is all very typical, as you said, it's very typical, like product design project. Okay, and then this is also some action, you know, the college React from the communication design, digital media, which they apply for the design skill training and the practice, like data, how the data visualization, and so for the DESIS lab in Tongji, actually we focus on a topic which is a social distancing. So we did some small group of study, which is we can easily divide in 4 categories, which is the change of the people behavior and the daily life, social distancing, communication, and then tours, etc. So I'm going to go through the purpose to do this is how we will look back how the past 2 or 3 months already, how we react in the daily life, and then how is the different in online communication or politics or tours, the daily life change, how it makes our life change. So, and then this project actually is the one I'm teaching now at the moment. So it's called Narrative Environment and Placemaking course, which is the master course. Now have 15 students. Now they are doing the topic, which is we call Doorman Room 2.0. So actually in China, everybody out of the, inside of the gate community, we have this doorman room. So at least 1 or 2 located in different entrance. So for this outbreak period, actually, the doorman room, actually stand a lot of function for protect or prevent the outside or inside. It's leading role in the community for the physical place. So we take this as a kind of a reaction to study on the existing condition, and also how we can use the design strategy to create a new kind of narrative for future, like a resilient community. Because now everybody know in China, this doorman room is kind of one function, is the room for the doorman, that's it. So this kind of doorman room is everywhere. We can see the map. It's linked. It's a small, we apply for the Azure theory, like a small local open connected. Actually, this scenario is very related to this kind of case. So we are looking at how this doorman room could be linked to the community service, activity, social interaction, etc. So this course is still going on at the moment, but will be finish the end of the April. But we'll continue on this research later on after the course as well. So I think this is the topic, which is the DESIS lab Tongji will continue to focus on, and as one of the study. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Someone have some questions or comments for now, or we can go on and at the end?
I have my presentation on Socala.
Okay, and maybe we can follow, because we have people from Jiangnan University, from the group of, then when we have your presentation, that's it? Okay.
So
hello, this is I'm from Jiangnan University.
I just talked with the other professor from Hunan University that he will present before me. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Hunan University.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Please, can you share your
Hello,
screen?
everybody. Yeah, I will share my screen. Okay. This is Jun Zhang from Hunan University DESIS lab. In this semester, in the start of this semester, we just stay at home. So we use online course to start this topic, design out of isolation. I'm the in charge of the complex system design, the course name. There were 25 group of students, nearly 100 numbers, so great numbers of the students. So that just to show two of them. One is uses plant nurturing system for the healthcare workers. This design is to care about the doctors and the nurse working in the hospital to take care of those patients. But they have a lot of duty. Meanwhile, have some psychologist problem of themselves. So in this system design course, we ask our students to do some design survey online, and also some from the people around themselves, because you know during the past 2 months, nearly all Chinese people stay at home. It's quite difficult for them to do the investigation. So our students are working online, and they did a lot of great. They found a lot of problems during themselves in the community, in the hospital, and in the city. So this idea is just like I said, is focus on the doctors and those health workers. They build a multi-sense interactive experience device. It's a digital device, also the real device. As a digital device is online, is like a application in the mobile phone. The nurse, those doctors can use this device to have the experience of the rebirth, vitality, bloom, and sorry.
I don't see your I don't see your screen.
Sorry. Oh, I don't know. I already share my screen, but I don't know how to. Oh, I'm how to find, you know.
I will just I will give you. I will share my one, so I will disconnect yours so you can. Oh, okay. Now it works.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, maybe it's my fault. Okay. Can you hear now? Can you see now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a newborn sport interactive screen. It gives the live sense of the doctors and the nurse while they do the health care for those patients, and for like a different flowers and the plant. It's a digital way, but also there is a online service. The the online service means those families of this patient can send flowers, can send those service to those doctors and nurse. Yeah, and then there will be a site of plant shelf and planters in the hospital. Yeah, in the hospital, in those like ICU center, out of the ICU center. So gives a sense of living and the fresh air and the rebirth for the rebirth of life. So that's the application. So this is one idea. Another one, I think it's maybe, maybe more interesting. It's a focus on the I just show a video of this, the second idea of this group.
During the global coronavirus pandemic, there have been tragic loss of life, often under very difficult circumstances. The real people may have to deal with increased trauma and may be cut off from some of their usual support network.
I don't see
a screen. How about the other people?
Oh,
Video of traditional
can you see?
No.
No, I don't see your screen.
Oh, this is a.
I
don't know how to.
I see just the article. It just stopped.
You see the voice. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I could hear the voice.
you have also to hurry up a little bit because otherwise too long.
Yeah, it's only 2 minutes, the video. Oh, maybe I show the slide. Let me see. Okay, let me see the slide. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the Room meeting application because we use the Tencent meeting where we do online teaching. Okay, so this is another idea, the design for the peace of the departed, for those people gone away. You know, in this pandemic crisis, a lot of people died, and they even they don't have the normal how to say the normal way of memorism, but you still need to like give them the ratio or a ratio way to memorize them. So it is a service of digital and physical, like a product service design. So you can see the communicate care manual. After the some people died, there is a memorial cube. The cube is to make some take some belongings in this box and use the contactless deliver to send it to their families. And you can use this application.
Sorry. 高老师啊，我这看到你一直是你那个封面那一页，我不知道其他人那儿怎么样。
啊
The screen is not moving to the next slide.
对，还是张老师啊，你那确实是那个，可能你要么你把头像给关了，你把头像的视频关了，这样流量留给那个 PPT。
是这个流量的问题吗？
可能是的，嗯。
哦。
I'm thinking maybe because we're too far away and the internet doesn't work very well.
Yes, maybe, yeah. play this video again. Maybe the video is. Can you see my video?
Yeah,
Prof. Zhang, probably I think that we have to move on.
Okay.
The time, yeah.
Okay.
Time is flying.
Yeah, I would like to ask you, if possible, if you can send the presentations or part of it to us. Are you there? Can you listen?
Yes, yes.
Because we can also Zoom to understand your projects, or maybe some synthesis if you don't want to provide all the PowerPoint. But it can help us to make this collection of case of DESIS labs. And so I will post here an email. So if you can send by WeTransfer or something, okay?
Yeah, no problem. I can share it.
Because we would like to make some news of the project. So I will ask everybody with presenting here if they can send us. I don't know if you can see it in the chat, our mail.
Yeah,
so
I saw it.
You can share your by WeTransfer, or if it's enough light, you can send us by mail. So we would be very grateful, so we can build up this connection. We have already this one from Sabrina, Tongji, and from Xinhua Fang. So we can increase this collection. And our idea, as I said in the beginning, is to post it as news. So you can also send some more synthetic. And we have some forms also. If you don't want to send any kind of PowerPoint, you can also send us to fill a very simple format online that we have one for our Chinese colleagues. We tested, please, and it works in China. That is the one I posted now in the chat section. And if you can take a note or copy this link, you can also insert your projects there. So Zoom, if you don't want to send a PowerPoint, you can just make a small description in English and put one picture and a very short format that help us to know more about your projects. And you can also attach some files in this form, in SurveyMonkey form. I think that is very good for... we have another link for people that can use or use Google platforms. So we have the option, Mary, that is this one, okay? So you can, everybody, please, you can use these two links to whatever link you want. They are the same, to give some input of what you are doing. So some of you don't have like a PowerPoint or have some, there are some ideas that is just beginning or very informal. So you can also use these forms to put very simple initiatives, okay? So as Mary have asked, we have this one in English. Both are in English, but we have these two options. If you cannot access one platform, Google platform, you can use SurveyMonkey, okay? Two options, but they're the same, okay? Oh. So thank you, Jun. I will be very grateful if you can, or send me the PowerPoints or PDFs, or and also maybe fill in the form so we can showcase this. Okay, thank you. So I leave to you. Who wants to share?
I want to share Carla and Carla. I'm ready also.
Okay.
Can I?
So please, you can share your screen.
Yeah, I have the screen here. I don't know. Yeah. This is. Do you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, do you? Oh, you cannot see it.
We see you. It's fantastic.
Oh, we see. And you see the screen or not?
No.
Oh, just a moment.
Share your screen below.
Yeah, share screen.
And you can choose which one you want to share.
This one.
Oh,
Okay. It's coming? Carla?
Yes, now.
Now you see it. Okay. We are from Bangkok, Thailand, and we are in this under this title. We are kind of Bangkok Coalition for Design for Social Innovation and Food Program that is thanks to ASIO from his 2 visits to Thailand, and that we can create this platform among the social mover and the design school that we work with. And in this situation, how we see in the immediate term and midterm and even the new normal, I think the food system policy design is what we are working at the moment. We have worked with under the kind of 2 keywords. So one is food citizenship, and in that sense, it means that we inspired by the book of ASIO, also Politics of the Everyday, and we see that food is so fundamental, essential during this emergency or during this pandemic. You will see that food security is so important than ever, and that how the food production is still going on while everyone have been locked down in the house, but food production activities still continue, and even much more on offline than before. So, and the way the online strengthening, like in case of Fang, show how delivery of so many applications can deliver food at home. But we also have to eat as a physical one, as a offline. So in our situation right now, we are planning for a 10-year plan. This is our 10-year food program strategy, and very much so with social innovation on how we see the food policy design. And we are already work with 4 clusters with the school, a kind of organic food for all. Not only school, but hospital is a kind of the organic food should not be privileged only for people who have money, but organic food for all in sense of equality and justice for kids at school and hospital patients who need to have their immunity or even resilient if people can consume organic food in affordable and acceptable. And we have a kind of cluster of problem-solving platform. And from that problem solving, we have 50 projects prototyping on the ground and how to document this problem solving, the model, the prototype on the ground from 50 project partners become a learning platform and become policy guideline. And we foresee that for 10 years of food system have to be changed from conventional food system to be more distributed system. And we also already have a kind of roadmap how food citizenship, the sense of what you select, what is your choice and action that change the world. So from these 4 clusters, the school, the hospital, the farmer market that link with the producer and consumer power can really create will be a foundation for the food project design. And we will synthesis and have a collective intelligence. So, and this show us if we really have a research, we will have 2 policy research to really document how these models of school, CSA, hospital, green market, consumer power is preventive health, and that is the health investment that is more benefit than curative health, that you have bad food and you have environmental costs, health costs. So we will show that. Okay, I think that this is the CSA. Receive it every Thursday. in CSA for 17 years. So our project is all about social innovation and the food policy design. Okay.
Thank you.
So that's, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I know that you have already sent to us this presentation, so we have any doubt, I will be very happy, Walapa, if you can fill a little bit one of these forms so we can have a kind of synthesis of your project for dissemination. So
Yeah.
please see in the, I don't know if you take notes, that was in the chat here. We can post again. We have these two options here. I will post again if you missed it. And I have Xiaobao from
Jiangnan
sorry,
University.
my pronunciation from sorry, I'm sorry.
I'll introduce myself later. Thank you.
Jiangnan, and she's gonna present us the projects from your university. So I would just
I need the screen.
I will just stop here so you can share yours. Okay.
Thanks. It's fun, and the other colleague Zhang Jun has just presented. Actually, this is collaborative teaching within us. We were working together with 5 universities, and 3 schools of us. We just finished the course last week and also this week. Okay, I can share my screen. Well, I'm going to show. Okay, here. I'm going to show you some of the projects that our students have done. As I just mentioned that, where is it? Okay. I hope that you can see my screen, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. From our part in Jiangnan University, we have 2 classes together. The other teacher, Professor Xiao Dongjuan, is also in the group. And I'm going to present some of our projects from the students, what we have done. So for example, here, well, first of all, we chose who are the people that we are going to design for in this epidemic situation. So first of all, we analyzed all the people who are involved into this isolation, such like this group, they focused on the people who are living alone, the elderly people, single living, especially when these people who are not very capable to live alone, such like with some disease or not very healthy, something. Actually, in the reality, it happened a lot of times, these kind of elderly people with some problems, and they were stuck at home with the life is quite difficult. So this group students are trying to produce, to design a kind of device that can, like a camera, with a camera, and to evaluate the movement at home to elderly people. So behind the product, we also designed together the product service system. I see another voice.
Yes, there is somebody that never they switch on the microphone, and you switch off.
I'm switching on some microphones of who is not speaking. So I'm sorry for that, just to improve the quality. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to continue. So such like we focused to the people first, and we try to understand what we can do for them. So for example, the second group, they designed for the pregnancy women in this epidemic situation again, who are also a special target group people with quite a lot of difficulty, especially when they have to go to the hospital for any examination. So this is the kind of journey that when they have to go out, to move out to the hospital, especially such like at the first month, the Wuhan city was shut down, and all the public transportation also was shut down. And so in this case, how to help these people when they have to go to the hospital. So this is the second group work. After this meeting, I will share these cases to everybody later. And so following the second group, then we have another group. They're doing for public transportation. No, this is designed for the volunteers. So we think that the volunteers are also a very important group of people, and they are trying to do everything to help the other people, but they are also in a very dangerous situation. So in this project, we designed together to think of how to provide their safer protection to the volunteers when they have to work. And again, for the public transportation, we know that gradually, especially now, we know that Wuhan city is open again. And in the epidemic, very strict situation, everything was shut down. So for public transportation, so this is a group working on public transportation, how it can work during this very difficult situation. And then we also have another group. They think of the medical people, such like the doctors and the nurse. They worked like 16 hours per day and all the time working very hard with very big stress, something. So at least we think that we can provide them a very convenient nap. So in their office or anywhere, even they just have a small space for a quarter of time, just like half an hour, they can have a little bit rest, but not in the first pictures, you see that they just sleeping in the chairs. So this is a project working on to help the medical people to have a little bit rest as when there is a little bit time. And we also have another very interesting project who are working on to save the pets. The reason is also very interesting. We had a lot of discussion at the beginning that the pets are left home, such like there were people who went to travel for work and they were blocked out of home. They cannot return home on time. So the little animals, the little creatures are staying home alone and they became very dangerous. Dangerous means not only they will die, starving to die, and also there were also some pets, they will be infected also. So in this case, in different cases for the pets, we also need to think of them. I also think this theme is very interesting. So this is the project to work on how to save and to rescue the pets in this special time. So these are some interesting projects we have done with the students that we have done together in these weeks. And we are also still working on the projects, trying to improve and try to make them into real. So that's all. And I also have my colleague Xiao Dongjuan in the group, in this meeting group, and I just representing her to introduce all the projects. And I hope to have more discussions with everybody later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We have here in the chat some questions about the project. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you need my screen again?
No, we have some. I don't know if we can ask more in the end, or
yeah, sure.
Or later. I don't know. It was some questions because the projects we cannot really read what is written, at least here. So we just see some synthesis, and you have a very wonderful presentation. So I don't know. We were gonna share in the DESIS network the projects, but maybe we can have your agreement to maybe share for those who are here some platform to people see it closer. So
yes, no problem. I will share with you this file later. So I think these are the posters after the projects, after the course, and I also checked everything, almost everything details last night, and I think it's presenting most of the content of the project. Also,
Yeah.
for the other two universities, like Tsinghua University, Feng, and Hunan University, Zhang Jun just presented, we will use the same format of this presentation for this poster. And we're also trying to make some exhibition online or somewhere, such like on DESIS website will be a nice choice.
Yeah. I see you follow the same format. Maybe we can share together the projects as an initiative. I don't know. We can discuss that, and the people can just have access to maybe online exhibition, maybe something like that. We can discuss later.
That would be nice. So here the file is really big. So here the meaning is isolation. So we have to keep distance from all the other people. We are the same people, but try to keep distance.
Yeah.
And for so this is we designed together with the students, and so you also see these icons that people should anyway to find their own way to keep distance and to get well protected. And so we have these DESIS China Design Schools joint courses together. And I'm also thinking this is also the advantages that thanks to the remote teaching way that we are teaching online. So in this way, together with Fang and Jun, we shared also the teaching experience, and for the midterm presentation and the final presentation to the other schools, the other professors will join and to tutor the students together and to give them more ideas and suggestions to improve the projects. I really think this is a good experience about teaching and collaboration teaching.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, for sure. This experience was to coordinate all these schools in this work were very, very interesting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And I would like to answer questions. Also, I believe that together with Fang and Jun, we would like to answer questions from the other colleagues here.
Okay, we have time. I hope. I want to know if someone more have presentations. I have one, but I can just wait. There is some more presentations, or we can pass on to the next. Someone more?
So, I will quit my screen here and let's talk later.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Carla.
Hi.
Actually, Professor Li Jian from GARFA, he forwarded me his introduction of their school's work. However, I don't think we have enough time to show that. I will upload all of the material of GARFA to the DESIS website.
Okay, so we were discussing about how can we share online these projects. If you organize something, or we can organize here a way to share all these projects, because some people, for example, here in the chat are asking, or some of them we don't see in detail. So we are very interested. So we can find out how, if you agree to make this available. Or you can make it available and give us a link. We can discuss later how to share.
You mean share the work results of our students?
Yes, if you want, we can do it in the DESIS. We can collaborate on making something like design out isolation, the projects together, and give visibility, because it can be inspirational for people. So make a kind of online exhibition. So
yeah, exactly. That's a good idea. Actually, we have already asked our students to prepare the poster and video with both languages, Chinese and English. So definitely we will be very pleased to have an online exhibition on the DESIS network.
Yeah. We can organize later this possibility, because so people can make Zoom and see details, and
yeah, exactly.
and of course we can have another section for other projects from DESIS Labs that didn't follow this exactly format that you prepared. Anyway, this is a good idea, because maybe we don't have enough time here to pass all them, so people can, because we are expecting also to have other conversations. So maybe we can have another one afterwards when people see the projects online, your projects and other projects we're going to receive, and then we can have new conversations of on which people see the projects before and have a forum to take doubts and to talk about the projects with the professors or developers. So it would be great. So thank you. So maybe we can move for the next. That was in our program. The idea was to like how can we exchange these ideas? That's why I'm talking this to you. So the ideas and proposals to facilitate exchange of knowledge and practice between members. How can we improve this? So this initiative is part of that. So I'd like to ask if you have another ideas, because for now our idea is, okay, we collect the projects. You have developed your own format, posters. We have like a form for those that don't have any kind of format to send us. We intend to disseminate this news about what is going on in DESIS as for ourselves, for the members, and for the whole design community to see how we are doing regarding design for social innovation and ideas that are being developed in our labs. Some of them already prototyped, some of them no. So anyway, ideas and proposals and initiatives, and have these Zoom conversations. So sharing and talking and exchanging ideas. So this is the very first one. But I don't know if you have another ideas or initiatives.
Can I say something, Carla?
Please.
I feel that today, I think is a good start that we have this, our network here. But I see that is mainly we are on the present, the emergency of the design. But the midterm and even the long term, the new normal, I feel that we may not have time, even because today the Zoom meeting meant to look into the midterm, the transition, and how we really in a hybrid community of place. Like, so, but I understandable for the in the mid of the crisis, maybe we emphasize today on the emergency of the design, but I would love to see the midterm and the new normal. Yes.
Yeah, we can. If we have this practice and we evolve in the conversations, we can cover beyond the emergency and create a more connected community and work also on long term, for sure. Thank you.
Are the presentation finished? There are some other presentation or not?
Yeah. Yes, we could have more. I have one and other people here maybe have, but it can take longer. We continue and become a little bit late.
We are supposed to finish in theory in 1 minute. In practice, we can also 5 minutes, but it will be interesting to know if there are, because of course, this is not the best way to start an in-depth conversation. But it's a good way to see who is doing what and to have a more direct vision. So if there are some others, but not making a long presentation, but simply telling,
telling,
what
not presenting, but telling what is doing.
So we have a view of what, an overview. So this kind of format is to have overviews. It's not a format to have in-depth discussions. So at least to have the overview, so it would be nice to have if in this round of the eastern part of the planet, what else has been done? So we have the flavor at least. Okay, there's somebody else?
There is someone more that can make a short comments of what is doing in their own university.
Given that I imagine that most of you will not be the day after tomorrow to the other side of the world, I can tell you what is my impression of what for the people that I know they are doing. And also in that case, there are several activities at several levels. Some of them are near to the service ideas that we have seen today. So today, if I had to summarize, a lot of them are service ideas that in my view, they are not only on emergency, even though the emergency part has been shown, but they could have the potential also for the medium term. For instance, if I consider the first one that has been presented by Fang, that's one of the life, the circle of life, this is a way to use some digital tools to go also beyond the digital tools, but to create links in the community of people living in the nearby. So many of them have this characteristic that if we have a reflection of them, we can see how they can last in time. And otherwise are more starting from the physical place and seeing how things can go. And as the one that has been presented by Sabrina, that was not probably at a certain point, they will also have some digital device because everybody has digital devices, but was more starting from the physicality. In the Europe and American side that I know better, there are a lot some of them that start in this way. The ones that I know better in Milano and the ones that I know better in Barcelona. If you want, the slogan could be the one in which I finish my short presentation, that is how we manage with density in this post-catastrophic phase, and with the issue about distancing, but at the same time, the need to reconnect people. So how to reconnect people afterward that we are being this kind of distancing. And this is something that is done, they are not a totally new project, but it's a way to receive what we was already doing. So in Milano, there have been some projects on some neighborhoods, and they are being rediscussed considering these new conditions. And the same is for what is in Barcelona, where we are working on this super block. And Barcelona is particularly dense city, and there is a discussion about what does it mean density in this post-pandemic phase. And afterward, we have, of course, some people working with a maker space to produce to produce quickly some components, some medical components, and this happened in 3 different parts, also in Canada, or somebody that has some fashion workshop that use this workshop to quickly produce some mask or some dresses for medical reasons. And yes, and afterward there are people trying to have more in-depth reflection on nature and this relationship in between human being and nature. So this is a little bit the overview of the kind of projects. I will position all these projects as some projects that are in the transition. Some of them is extrapolating something understood in the urgency, seeing what does it mean in the long time. Some of them are taking some visions of the future and trying to understand how they have to be updated and upgraded to the present conditions. Okay, this is the story in short. Some others, or
yeah, it's been interesting to have some synthesis of other people, what you're doing in your labs, or also as citizens.
Or we finish.
Okay.
I will try out my voice here from New Zealand into this very illustrious community. We're very new to DESI in Otago in New Zealand, but we're in our going into our 3rd week of lockdown and realizing just on the ground how we're having to work with our older community of people with low vision, is the community that I work with. And so we're reinventing the radio show as a way of reaching our community and trying to integrate that with phone calls and online material. But because our community of older people is not online, we're having to think about how to reach them. So if anybody's working in that space, I'd love to hear more. So we're starting a kind of weekly radio show to try to reach our community and also to draw on their expertise, not as people being helped, but as experts in their own condition to actually feed in. And we're doing that as a collaboration with groups of students, including healthcare professionals, occupational therapists, and product design and communication design. So that is, I hope that's a little bit clear, but it's this idea of a hybrid community. I find that such a fascinating concept coming through here today, of trying to think of different media to work with people so that they stay connected even when we can't be together.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary, for sharing.
Thank you.
Someone else? No? Well,
Yeah.
I can make a comment, and afterward maybe Carla can decide to finish or not. And yeah, I think that there have been. It's very important for DESIS on one side to share. That is something that we are doing, and this online is only to help the process of connecting and collecting things. And as Carla said, and so we will have some way to make all these things visible, but also we are a community of reflection on design. So of course, in an urgency phase, we have to be very pragmatical, and many people, especially our Chinese colleague, have been so fast and so good in making something happen. And afterward, we have to have some reflection of it. And this is, in my view, the way to use the emergency to project something for the future. So for instance, just because it was the last that has been mentioned, I thanks a lot, Mary, for this idea that I would like to see better, because it's a very interesting, because the push of trying to create connection in between people that are isolated, alone, has brought to imagine a new way. So she called it a new radio. And I find that this is a very original idea, because all of us says that in the future, people should also communicate more in a not only in the physical way, but maybe there is not only the computer, there are also other ways to do it. And so how to build this hybrid community and using also something that is not obvious. For us today, obvious is to communicate to some social media, but there could be also something else. So I found that this input of thinking in a more large way, what could be the digital or the immaterial part of this digital and the hybrid community, in my view, is very, very interesting and very challenging. At the same time, I think that probably because we are a DESIS, so this is mainly a meeting of DESIS, but practically all the one that I heard that was talking about the use of digital media were trying to connect the digital systems to the community. So all of us are already working in some way on the hybrid community. And I think that the challenge is really to better understand, to use this opportunity to better understand the connection in between what we are developing at this digital level with how we put together people, how we balance in a different way. I think that this is really very crucial. I say this is not the moment to talk it, but our society has the tendency, the main trend has been to in some way virtualize our experience, so to detach ourselves from the physical place where we are. Now, the challenge that is in many of your projects, how to use, okay, to accept and to use, because there are some opportunity in using these tools, the digital tools, and these are very important, but at the same time to use it to regenerate also the physical one, and very importantly, the physical one with the space. Nobody told it, but I want to underline that unfortunately, we will have to face other catastrophes. So the fact of being resilient for a society is a key issue. And we know for experience that the resilient society are the ones that are meshes of communities that have a high knowledge in between the people and between the people and the place where they are. So the societies that are capable to react to what is unforeseen is the one that have this kind of link in between them and the knowledge about the place. So this working on a hybrid community is a way to work for resilient society. And finally, I would say that I appreciated also the fact that there have been some more, let's say, cultural, poetical project, as the two ones that has been mentioned by Hunan University, that I've not understood well, because of course this is not the moment to understand. But I think that is very important. On one side, this very light but nice idea of the flowers, so that also in the moment that are so difficult, so tough, so terrible, you have also to consider some other issue that is very good, very important for the spirit. So I have not understood very well the project, but I understood that in this moment, in the middle of this kind of catastrophe, somebody also take care of having some flower. I find it's really very interesting and important. And finally, and of course, I think that we have to talk about death. There have been some groups. So for instance, we have a colleague here of the Hong Kong Design Institute, where there has been some research with Yankee Lee about death also in the past. And there have been other colleagues around in the world that has started to deal with death, not as something you are not to talk, but you have to talk and to talk in a certain way. And the fact that now we are confronted with death, we have not to turn our head in another direction, not to see it. So I find that if somebody, some student, some school has been the strength enough to really look to the fact that there is a lot of people that are dying. And by the way, everywhere I think they are dying in a very bad way, because people are dying alone when they die during this kind of isolation. So it's really, if to die is not good, but this is an awful way of dying for both them and also the parents. So having had somebody that started to think about what does it mean to consider the limits and what are the obligations for medical reason, and not to have direct relationship with the people that are dying, but how we can create a little bit of link, I think that this is very, very sensitive. So to conclude, we have to share information, okay, but we have also to find a way to share reflections, and the reflection could be very related to typical design knowledge, how to manage digital and physical, for instance, to create a resilient system, but also more cultural. So how design can enter in a discussion, for instance, or discussing about relations between human being and nature, as I said before. But in this discussion, there is also discussion, for instance, of how we deal with death in a way that consider the sadness of dying, but also the fact that dying is part of our life in some way. And that is all for me. And I personally thank all of you. And I leave the floor to Carla.
Thank you, Ezio. I think that this is becoming very long, so it's time for us to wrap up something, what we have discussed. And I thank you, Ezio, because I share your comments on projects. Thank you very much for sharing. Also this one about the pets, and to also see other dimensions of our humanity in the middle of this crisis. So I must say, I mean, just to share to you that how inspirational it is also for our labs to think about all the possible alternatives and projects. So I'm saying that as a member of a DESIS lab here, another part of the world, and seeing the projects from you guys developing in China or some ideas from Mary, it opened up my mind for other possibilities. I will not share now the projects we are running here. I will do it on 16. But anyway, we soon have this online, and that's would like to wrap up with the following. To next steps will be share the projects as soon as we can. So this sense of urgency. So also if you're doing something that you think, okay, because the project is a big word, right? Something very small with your students, activating and participating with citizens. So please send us everything that we can move on this communication machine and inspire people. So to share the projects as soon as possible is very important. So first idea is also if you have posters or you send this to me, and we'll start a discussion on how you can or us can support us organizing online exhibition of design out isolation projects. So they can be together somewhere. We can discuss if you do it, or we can host it in DESIS website. This is first. The second is this invitation to fill the formats. I send them in the chat. I can send again for you to copy and paste somewhere. We have this for who have access to Google Platform or SurveyMonkey, so you can choose which one you can use, whatever you prefer. But we are asking people to fill it until Friday. So we can start in the next week to send news and share this, organize this, some repository if you have enough. But anyway, we can start to share in social media and DESIS website as news, as far as we have this repository or we have enough projects to organize something that can be shared. It will be great for all the DESIS members, but also for outsiders, people that are in other social media. I entered in some groups in Facebook, and they are really sad. People for neighborhoods, Facebook groups without initiatives. And when one of your projects is just to put projects and ideas to inspire citizens to take action. So something very simple. So projects can come also for DESIS for our outside design labs, also for citizens to get inspired by some projects that are more tactical and strategic, that involve citizens. So also them can be also replicated outside this design for social innovation network. So our main concern now is to share. So to intensify this exchange in ideas. So please, and then to follow up this, we can organize other conversations. So we can have like more mature exchange after we have seen some projects about what can be done, or take some exchange of some details that can be useful somewhere of someone. Okay, so this is my last idea. I would like to talk with you about this, and we are waiting for your information to start to. And don't be worried about the form. It's very simple, just an image, a synthesis, and maybe your contact, so people can connect and have more information from you about your initiative and open up this conversation. Okay? So thank you very much for this wonderful talk today, conversation today, and please again, be aware that you are subscribed in our newsletter. If you're not receiving, please enter in contact with us. You can subscribe in our website or write to this mail. Please keep this with you, because this is a contact for you for any problem you have. If you don't receive our 2 last mail newsletter, you know about this conversation for someone, or please write to us, and we'll try to solve it. Okay? So we have another conversation 16. Of course, more a better time zone for those in Europe and Americas, but of course you are very welcome. And as I said, just to stress it, we are recording and we expect to share this as soon as possible also. Okay? Very, very nice to see you guys also. Your faces, and thank you.
Ciao, thank you to you. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.